Good morning, Nancy Jane, and everyone in
Good
the
morning,
chat.
Scott.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Ah, I cleaned my
Um,
whole kitchen yesterday. Scrubbed the counters down, resealed the granite.
cool. You're doing
Mm,
work.
working.
It's good to be productive.
Yes, it is.
You know, loosen up the old muscles and joints, and you need less WD 40.
And realizing that my arms have shrunk because I can't reach the back corners of cabinets.
Oh, I'm just browsing your questions again here. Good morning. Does the week start on Sunday? Oh, yes, it does. Thank you, Pia. Okay, Debo. You think Rump's mugshot will be released?
Yep, absolutely. It's a public document.
I hear he might get his DNA too.
Whoa.
Fingerprints.
I don't know what the laws are in New York, but in Texas, you have to be convicted before they can just take your DNA.
Kim. Literally just asked my Dawson rods. Perp walk? No. Mugshot? Yes.
No, they're avoiding the perp walk by surrendering him. They're also avoiding a crowd that is a nightmare for the um, his Secret Service.
Yeah, that's why this. We're gonna read on it, but this is why this Tuesday thing is kind of weird. I mean, to be announced like that, I don't know. That can cause more hysteria, but just general feeling. Let's see, Biden became president. Okay, just show this.
Yeah,
Biden became president, told myself there'd be no more excitement, no more. I was wrong. Oh no, we. As far as the presidency, we got a good guy in there and no nonsense and doing good work, but we still got Republicans and 45 still chatting away. And the fool, the, you see, he's doing a rally in Waco, the 30th.
yeah, right near the Branch Davidian complex.
No shame. It's a
That
nervous.
happened 30 years ago because my son was turning 2.
Mm, Nancy Sapp's nervous. Oh no, no nervous. We've been waiting patiently for so long.
I would say they're more likely to have riots in the street from people who are so happy to see it than the idiots coming to try and stop it. But
Yeah, I just do not see another January 6th of 10,000 plus.
well,
You know, we're gonna
if he starts a rally in Waco and they have to walk to the courthouse in New York, it's going to be a while because it's far, far away from where I live.
it's happening. You might have a few fools, like we were talking behind the scenes there. After the search warrant in Mar-a-Lago, there was what 10, 12 people with flags down there.
Yeah, on this road that leads to Mar-a-Lago, they wouldn't even let him in the gates, and they were out there supporting him. This is his.
Yes, true. Weisselberg, we didn't even hear about it though, right? Until it was going to happen. Behind the scenes, they talked, and
Mm-hmm.
Weisselberg said, "Yes, I'll surrender peacefully." It doesn't happen this way with 45 screaming in the hells that I'm getting arrested on Tuesday. It does feel like it's this week,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll get in that energy yet. I'm just going through Sheila. There you go. Probably on Thursday. Very possible. Not thinking about it right now. Just going through the chat, find the
Mm-hmm.
questions. Yeah, that feels like it there, Laura. What do you think, Nancy? He just announced it to get
Absolutely.
people riled up.
I was watching Jonathan Capehart yesterday on MSNBC. He had Rachel Maddow on. You can find it on YouTube. Rachel went into quite a discussion about how dare he after all the pain he's caused, threatens civil disorder like that, and that ought to be what everyone's talking about, not whether he does a perp walk or whatever. What arrogance to try to call people together to riot for him. And who's going to riot for him? Everybody who rioted for him that got in real trouble, there's 1,000 of them now that have been indicted, and a great many that are serving their sentences right now. And this was a big man who was going to come pardon them all and let them go.
Yeah, there was a lieutenant colonel that got sentenced from Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Retired.
Yeah,
Retired.
tell me. I know.
Unreal. DOJ announced there's many more. They just haven't found them yet.
I know.
Or arrested them. We're probably going to see 1,000 more yet.
The first 500 they got were all turned in by their families. We don't want to hear about it at Thanksgiving anymore, Daddy. Bye.
Lock him up. There you go. Remember when you channeled Trump Escape? Yeah, I should probably tap into that.
Somebody said, I read that somewhere when I was flashing around on the YouTubes yesterday, but I didn't really understand what they thought they were seeing. I think his most likely escape is this is for entertainment purposes only, is like and not at all premature heart attack considering how he eats.
Yeah. No, what I've seen in my
You saw him flying away in his fancy jet.
No, I seen him trying, but he got caught before he got on the plane. That's what my internal channel said.
Well, not to quote another reader, but Cash Peters saw him trying to get on this boat, and they kept chopping the ropes that connected his little boat to the big boat, so he couldn't get on. How did Greg Abbott really feel? First of all, I cannot believe that either of them feels anything considering how they treat the people in this state. But I think those two people are, if they go into their political mask, would just as soon that man fall in the ground, that some sinkhole open up in Florida and swallow him up and he's never seen again. Ooh, did you hear about the giant seaweed patch?
Heading to Florida, yeah.
Yes.
It's huge.
Yeah, we had a similar thing when they opened up the St. Lawrence Seaway. These fish that had never been able to get into Lake Michigan got in, and they were 5 feet high, stacked on the shores of Lake Michigan. You could smell those fish on the 5th floor of Marshall Fields in the elevator. I mean, it was unreal. I really feel I feel for people who vote correctly, even if they vote incorrectly. Nobody should have that kind of smell. And this stuff apparently smells even worse than dead fish.
Oh, speaking of dead fish, there was a report, I think in Australia, thousands and thousands of dead fish because of the lack of oxygen and heat.
Oh.
It's killing the lakes.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just maybe last night, something I seen. It's sad. It's sad. Just they're all floating dead, and people are like, "This is the grossest smell ever," and it's going to continue. It was like 4 or 5 years ago that was like that too. They were saying all these fish dying. Ted Cruz and Abbott. It's behind the scenes. Ted Cruz, I just believe he's a complete liar in public, but behind the scenes, he's like, why do I have to keep up with this mess? I feel like he doesn't, behind the scenes and his internal feelings, that he don't like this. This bad taste.
Oh, I absolutely got it. It's because he thinks it hurts his chances because he still thinks he has a chance to run for something beyond in this stupid state.
But
it's absolutely not what he wants. He just is totally, totally opposed to it. Craig Abbott, he'll let him come in because it keeps not that anybody outside the state of Texas wants Greg either, but and he he dislikes it more than uh, uh, Cruz dislikes it because it's more likely to cause trouble where Abbott has to deal with it. Abbott's sort of hoping it doesn't happen, but they're not really helping him plan for it. And
No. Um, right now, I do have the sense I don't feel like it may even happen.
yeah,
Because I got my dark times. The energy of going on a plane has a different energy of not happening
hmm
with my dark card. Here's the plane going to Waco, dark, and then that energy. So it's like the flight and energy and excitement of a rally in Waco has darkness around it. So it's like it feels like it might not even happen there. But Abbott feels like he just embraces things, embraces the Republicans. So I
yeah.
got him coming as the King of Wands, the messenger card, and then things coming to light with rallies and whatnot. He thinks it's good for his voters, but it's not good for USA in history with my decisions and caution, my
hmm
EI card, and all that's good in history.
I when I did yes no just flat on the rally, not how they feel about it. I got it was made for immature reasons. It's made by a twisted person. They're announcing it loudly. Now these are both no. They're announced it loudly. That's yes, but then they've got a no. It doesn't happen because of another judgment. And what I flashed when I saw that card is that Georgia on him because it's in it 2 weeks that this he's supposed to have that rally down there.
The 30th, yeah.
He may not. He may be engaged elsewhere.
So it feels like how do I
Once
feel
one
about
goes,
Aaron Rodgers? It's time for him to move on.
is he the guy that won't take? Is he the one the COVID stuff's about?
He's the Green Bay's Packer quarterback.
Oh,
He's been there, since 2000. I don't know, long time. He was great for the Packers, the Green Bay Packers, but it's time to move on. He's just a drama queen, and it's the distraction.
mm-hmm.
So move on. It's time for another generation. Okay. Ooh,
They
why am I?
asked. Mhm.
My ears just started ringing for some reason. I looked at something and like a message was coming in. Um, what's this about Houston schools?
Oh, he's being sued over it. Not only that, I'll give you the full 911. The guy they're going to bring in is a guy named Mike Miles, and he had been superintendent in Vegas schools, and he ruined that school district. And then, of course, Dallas hired him, and he was here for 3 years, and he absolutely destroyed our school district. He and then they had to bring in someone after him. What he did is he came in and he brings in a whole retinue of people with him, and he was paying sub advisors to the superintendent $220,000 a year. Our teachers don't get paid crap, and they were paying these. And this one guy was 29 years old, had never stepped foot in a classroom. He totally destroyed the debt. Finally, Dallas, halfway through his contract, just said, "You're out of here." And so now, and he's just been went because as soon as I saw the name Mike Miles, I went, "That sounds familiar." And lo and behold, I found on a Facebook post by one of my friends who's active in the district. Can you believe they're bringing in Mike Miles? You can Google him and find out. It should say instead of Mike Miles district superintendent, it should say Mike Miles disaster. The guy's terrible. And they
Wow.
want to break up all the big school districts. Houston's huge. Our independent school districts are huge. They stay in the city bounds, and um, it's just another way to destroy public schools. They're just trying to destroy everything as fast as they can because they kind of see the handwriting on the wall in some ways about how long they're going to be able to keep doing what they're doing.
So what's Abbott's take on there? This wouldn't the board be
No,
injecting
it's
miles?
the state legislature voted to do a takeover. I have no
Oh,
idea. It came out of like almost nowhere.
oh gosh. Okay. Okay. Is there any fleeing going on with the people like let's just say like Scott Perry per se, or maybe some lawyers
Mm-hmm.
involved in J6 that they know they're culpable. Phoenix wants to
I'm
know if
gonna
there's any fleeing going on.
I'm gonna use my life is like a board game cards, my Monopoly cards.
Sounds good.
Y'all. It's
I
so
think
weird.
I think there was. I heard of one J6 defendant got out of the country.
Did he get far enough away they can't get him back?
I don't remember what happened to him.
I know one made it to the Caribbean thinking he was safe, and they met him at the plane and said, "No, you get to go home. We don't want you either."
Morning, Katie. Okay. 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 Truth. I got no fling.
I got a yes and a no. They're seriously thinking about it because they don't want to face the music with the structure that they intended. They want to go to a happily fulfilled place, a place where they will feel fine. And they like Reciprocity Avenue. They don't want to look what they're looking at. And but they said they're going to get a negative message from acting first and thinking later, and they're going to lose their independence on Independence Avenue goes south. So no, I don't think they'll get out.
That's right. Yeah, the one guy made it to Belarus, Eastern Europe,
Belarus.
Belarus. Yeah, yeah, he got out.
Okay. Yeah,
I
he's out
read
then.
something
He's
like that. um, I have a lot of paperwork coming down. I'm getting a lot of summer cards in my deck, so that would lean towards those people getting indicted by summer later, the lower fruit. But I have no cards of movement. They're all indictment cards and losing their value and what they've gained in life. Five of Coins is losing everything. The Sword of Truth. Page of Swords can be a running card, but it's more like getting arrested feeling than
yeah,
running. But yeah, Dark Times is coming to the institution all because of 45.
right.
But no, I don't see any fleeing. I think there might even be paperwork involved with maybe even seizing or putting him on the watch list or whatever, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I
Yep.
always seen MTG in handcuffs, so whenever that happens, timing, who knows. She's one of the 15 to 25 in Congress that are going to get part of it. Part of it
Yeah,
all.
I asked if they're working on it right now for them, and I got there's been some stalling around. Messengers been of opportunities been stopped, but there's positive movement happening right now about it, and they're
Yes.
moving forward as the provider of prosperity. Um, the problem is they're trying to get the collaboration on everybody together, and but it's right now is the darkest before the dawn. And what this reads is this is a no, this is a yes, this is a yes. That's one no, and this yes is two. So that's three yeses, one more no, and one more yes. So right now, as things stand, and since it said the darkest before the dawn, means it's hardest for us to see how it's going to work out.
Yeah, there's a lot in play. It's like I was
Mm-hmm.
telling my Nancy the other day about investigating everyone, even like these January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
You figure out someone was there, then you got to go through all this videotape, then you got to subpoena his, that person's social media, figure out what he's been doing. It's like 1 month per person. Can you imagine how many people they need just to investigate?
Well,
And
the
then you're
first in the first 500, the vast majority of them were turned in by their own families.
right.
Especially one idiot that they've already convicted that was from around here, and he was telling his family if they said anything about him, he was going to kill him. That would certainly motivate me to hop down to the county and say, "Guess what?
Yeah. What's his face? So let's just do a full read on Tuesday, basically, or
Okay."
other. When the
Well, Tuesday, uh, Monday's the equinox because Lord knows I know that my 9 cancels. I've got one more. I've got one more tonight, and then one more Monday evening, and then on Tuesday on my own daytime show, I'm going to do a wrap up on the 9 candles. But um, yeah, I've been watching stuff flow. And by the way, I can wake up now. I'm sleeping like a normal person again. I'm not passing out whenever I sit down.
sleep,
Consider that a personal victory at this point.
sleep is good.
Sleep's good, but not when you can't get your butt out of bed no matter what. So what are we're going to read on Tuesday, or just
No, however you want to do it, because there's other indictments out there, right? Because
right?
we got Fannie Willis, unless you want to take it separately and just do the energy of the Manhattan DA.
Okay, we'll do energy in Manhattan and energy in Georgia.
Okay, yeah, you can do it separately.
And you want to do a full reading on each?
However you
10
want to do
cards? Okay, I'm going to do 10 cards on each, and I'll start with
it.
the
Okay,
DA.
Manhattan DA. Alvin Bragg. What's going on? Manhattan DA. Manhattan DA. Alvin Bragg.
Well, my end card is damn this sucks place. So, development with new enthusiasm crosses it. So,
Okay.
oh, wow. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. Below, below those two interesting cards, the damn this sucks place and development of news and enthusiasm. That's the 5 of Cups. Is damn this sucks place. Um, High Priestess. So they've been working on this much more intensely. I think there's much more behind it than we know. I think there's
Yeah.
things we haven't seen yet. And this is their card right now. It's Holding Tight Avenue, which is the equivalent of the 4 of Pentacles. They've been keeping themselves to themselves.
No.
And the near future, someone's going to feel wearily defensive. The 9 of Wands sitting up there trying to figure out a defense. What they're most afraid of is they thought they'd have a chance to do a balancing act and they're not being allowed to. I think this is Trump. They're going to scream and yell, this is not logical, it's not impartial or anything else. but that's not going to work. And then we're going to begin to realize how shady all this really was, how much more was hidden from than we needed, than we could see. And all the information and contacts and everything are going to be out there. So there's not going to need to develop anymore. And then if the outcard is Watch Me Work Avenue, I think they're going to be really surprised at what he has and what he's coming in with. So I think he's clearly on his way to. It's going to happen. When it happens, they're going to realize how defenseless they are.
Yeah.
In a
So
good that Trump has no defenses. So what do you get?
I got the magician inside of the Knight of Wands and the Tower.
Mm-hmm.
And this is making me feel like this is bigger than just Stormy Daniels.
That's what I'm hearing. I think it led to something else, and they found out that
I
something
think
else.
he's taking on what was started before in it too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think he's adding that in along with Stormy Daniels, like superseding indictment kind of feeling thing. And then I have the Six of Swords, Queen of Coins, Page of Coins, moving forward position.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the current and past energy, what I just showed.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is moving forward. So there's travel. So he's going to be flown there, gotten there.
Mm-hmm.
The Queen of Coins. That's a definitely a female energy. Could be Ivanka or someone that brought more information in, or it could be Stormy. But the Page of Coins is moving in a direction of indictments, but there's also money value there that they're looking at. So there could be some. Yeah, that would make sense. The money, duh.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward on the money more than Stormy Daniels, including Stormy Daniels with Queen of Coins, the money paid.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have we have our wishes fulfilled with so here's my indictment card, here's Alvin Bragg, the King of Swords, here's my indictment
Mm-hmm.
card, and then wishes fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't show me waiting, but that doesn't show me well, the Knight of Wands is quick movement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna happen this week. Energy. It's not telling me Tuesday, of course, or anything, but it's telling me it's happening this week. There's no waiting cards. There's no hermit. There's no patience. There's no temperance kind of feeling.
Mm-mm.
So, and it feels bigger. So I think they're bringing back the case that the two prosecutors dumped.
Pomerantz, yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to indict someone, go through the whole enchilada, right?
Yeah.
Because Cohen was part of that information too.
I know, but they can let him go now. They could have signed an immunity agreement with him, and he doesn't have to tell us that.
Oh, Cohen served his time.
Oh, I know he served his time, but he would never sign the complete immunity agreement. Most people thought it's because of his father-in-law, who's a Russian mobster. But
yeah, there was always about that.
Mm-hmm. But it may have been he told things on Trump that he hadn't told before.
Sure.
For Georgia.
Well, they also got. Oh, you got Georgia already. Oh, you're quick.
Yeah, I got. Well, that's because I can do things while you're reading. Development of news with enthusiasm. That's Georgia. And Passion and Desires Garden. They really want to get this guy. And if you read any of that Atlanta Constitution article about the jurors, they really want this guy. But at the base of this is, he thought he was being the magician, making everything happen, and it didn't happen. And he thought he kind of left it all behind. He thought there were all sorts of ways around all the things he saw But I think his lawyers are going to be shocked when they look at the material they have against him. And the near future is judgment's going to be a little bit delayed on this one, in part because of New York going on. But I think the information is going to get out there in such a way that it's going to. He can say he's going to run for president, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And
By the time
base,
go ahead, sorry.
okay, basically, then he's thinking there's better things ahead for him, but he's really locked up in conflict gardens. And then the two out cards going towards the end is um, the collaboration avenue. They're going to have all the witnesses, and apparently, if you read the Atlanta Constitution thing, there's not a person that he called in Georgia that didn't tape their phone calls, including a dead guy that was the most damning tape, and the family handed the tape over to the jury. Provider of emotional support and maturity. He that's what the courts are going to do, and this is his outcome in this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
and
it's pretty intense when I get I get an intense feeling when the death card ends up in the end.
you know what I think it is? It's not just the death of his ambitions and change and all that stuff. I think there's going to be a real death in America to a lot of people who naively thought that we weren't as bad as it was. I think that as and I used to do this stuff, and I knew, and I grew up under Mayor Daley in Chicago, who, turned running a city into a fine art. But um, I think the fact that so many people who seem totally normal would go along with all this crap, that's going to be a shock. And I have friends who still have friends that used to be Trumpies. I obviously long ago abandoned all of them. But I have a friend who said he was out and he was went out to meet with some friends and have a dinner at their house, and they both, the husband and wife, told him they'd never vote Republican again. They're so shocked and appalled and that stuff. So I think there's going to be there's going to be awakening, not just on the side of the people who realize how duped they were, but on the side that I worked on, where the people realized how hard they didn't work hard enough. And I think they've just had a big change in the Dems leadership on a national level. And that guy'd been there since 2015. He worked for Hillary. I'm sure he's a lovely man, but I was listening to him talk, and he had none of the decisive speech you're hearing now from Swalwell and Schiff and Hakeem. The way those guys are talking is how we should have been talking for years. We should not have been polite to Trump. I don't care if he was the president. He was a crook and a thief. And I think people need to know if they go in that position, they're going to get called down about it too. But
yes, I was feeling that a long time ago too. Stop
mm-hmm.
being the nice guy.
Yep.
I mean, they never are.
And you're a person from Wisconsin, which was always known as a state full of lovely, nice people. People vacation there.
Generally. I mean, it's like when I go up to people or have to interact and I know they're on that side of the fence,
mm-hmm.
It's just like they're such good people.
Mm-hmm.
So a few weeks ago, there's this old guy. He's got meat grinding equipment. He usually would grind up deer and whatnot for his family or neighbors. So he wanted a whole bunch of hamburger or meat he could make hamburgers and make some sausages and whatnot. So I delivered it to him, and I was pulling in. He has Trump signs up yet. He's got the bad guy in Wisconsin Supreme Court signs up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just get that feeling in your soul. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How's this? Sweetest, nicest old man you never want to talk to. But he's on the other side of the fence of crazy when it comes to politics.
Because does he ever watch anything other than Fox News or Newsmax?
Right. So anyway, here's my Fannie Willis reading. She's doing the right thing, but I have patience cards yet. The Knight of Coins, and evaluating the situation, and there's
Mm-hmm.
waiting. But she's going to do the right thing here with the Knight of Cups. Then I have the Ace of Cups, King of Wands, and the jury. So
Mm-hmm.
she's currently putting all the situation into the jury. Most juries are 2 to 3 times a week they meet.
Mm-hmm.
I have the 9-10 of coins, which means there's a lot of evidence to present to the jury. So I'm not saying summer. I do not see summer. I'm sensing 2 to 3 weeks is when she starts dropping indictments.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like you said, if anyone has not seen it, Google the Atlanta Journal Constitution
Constitution. Mm-hmm.
magazine in Georgia. Really good article. They interviewed 5 different jury members. They wanted to speak after the other lady came out and misrepresented a few things, but it's a very good article. And like you said, the one person said, if America was in that jury room, there would be no division in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that mess that they seen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I just asked an
so
interesting
anyway,
question. Mhm. Oh,
the
good.
finishing, there will be a lot of evidence, a lot of
Mhm.
people getting indicted. All That's Good, A Universal Love, and Tower. So she's bringing the hammer on a lot of people, but I feel like it's 2 to 3 weeks yet
Yeah,
because
I asked.
I have a
I
lot of patience cards.
I asked if she's going to be able to go after the Georgia officials who are trying to pass laws so that she can't go after them. And I've got yes, development of trust and manifestation. She's holding her own. Right in the middle, you've got justice. She knows she has justice on her side, and there's no thing. And she's actually speeded a couple things up because they tried to put that pressure on her. That's waiting patiently, Avenue. And the state of Georgia is going to find out how heavily burdened it was by its officials.
Oh, Jeffrey needs a life. Don't need a life coach if 45 gets indicted. I like it. Okay, since we're on that, let's do a Jack Smith update.
Okay.
Let's roll on indictment row.
Did you ever think you'd know so many prosecutors by name and
Oh
exactly what they're
no,
trying?
no, around the country and getting to know a lot of people personally,
Mm-hmm.
prosecutors via Twitter or watching them on MSNBC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the biggest. I got a crush on Joyce Vance.
Oh, I think she's marvelous.
She's marvelous, and she posts about her
Mm-hmm.
chickens and knitting on Twitter and stuff. And I miss my chickens, and she's just a sweetie, just a good
Mm-hmm.
person, smart person. Okay, what's going on in
Oh wow, does this look good? Jack Smith.
Jack Smith world?
He's uh messenger of with for I'll put it right side up. Messenger of romance and invitations. He's just finding things every time he puts his hand out. It's just there. Then there's things for Trump as grief and sorrow away. He's starting a stable avenue. He's actually finding so much stuff it's almost a party at this point. And he's going to put this together so that we have the create the legacy we need to make sure it never happens again.
You said, oh,
Okay, before
oh, justice is reigning
I know that's what those
along with
cards
the
told me.
magician. Okay, big time, big time, big time. Okay, I got a lot of people, a lot of evidence, but he's
Mm-hmm.
taking charge with the chariot. Justice and the ten of coins means a lot of people, a lot of evidence are going to be in big trouble. Most I'm getting summer. The Ace of Cups summer's coming in a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
he is still dealing with Mike Pence and getting people's cell phones yet and all that. So there's still a lot to go on yet as far as him. But it feels like summer yet. The loss ends in summer. The Magician, a lot of people, a lot of good work behind the scenes. There will be a
Mm-hmm.
complete loss of a lot of people. And I'm getting that Ace of Cups summer a lot today in my throws. Um, there's overseas dealings too. He's working with.
Mm-hmm.
It could be crypto money or something, trying to track down money and finances. But there's justice happening overseas or something. There's some secret stuff we haven't even heard about. Um, with the 501s, there's tough energy breaking through it all. It
Mm-hmm.
could be like finding the finances and where it bounces or something, but there's a lot of work going on, and there's overseas stuff. Um, that's what I was getting last week because we checked in on SDNY, what they're doing. I think they're working
Mm-hmm.
on overseas stuff, with like money laundering and what. I
Yeah.
mean, we've had all oligarchs get raided and indicted, so there's a lot going on.
I
Um,
want to answer Teresa Ford's question. Yes, Teresa Ford, this is a vintage blouse given to me by a designer who found it somewhere, and it's from the mid 70s to 80. It was a sweet man named Rob, and he loved it because it went with my hair. So it's one of my favorite tops. I don't wear it often, but it's real vintage. It's got the big wide swallowtail. It's really fun.
yeah, you very well may be correct there, Pegasus.
Yeah,
There's a
he was
reason.
working at he was known for working on international money laundering. And
Yeah,
also he
go ahead.
oh no, Scott, you got ear ringing? Do you have
Yeah,
ear ringing?
I gotta stop when my ears start ringing like crazy bad. I gotta
Mm,
stop and listen because there's a message coming in that I'll be aware of. But they're ringing pretty hard, pretty loud this morning. So it means there's a lot of energy of prosecution going around.
mm-hmm.
It's when it gets quiet, then you got to worry.
When it
Okay.
gets quiet is when I start checking for vital signs.
What about vital signs? What?
If my ears quit ringing, I start
Oh,
checking myself.
gotcha. Oh yeah, someone else mentioned. Don't forget about the E. Jean Carroll case, April 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Bad man's got to be in court for that, right? Sweet. And E. Jean will win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kevin McCarthy, last night. Yeah, a lot of these Republicans are coming to the aid of 45 with the big message. A lot of people. Oh,
I'm asking if it's going to hurt
McCarthy,
Kevin.
that woman in New York, the number three or whatever heck her name is,
Mm-hmm.
that crazy woman,
Mm-hmm.
Marge Green, even Geraldo is out there. You can't prosecute Trump. It's going to be bad for the nation. Oh,
Why?
God.
Are you kidding? It's going to be such a party, Geraldo. You've been so wrong. Geraldo also drew in the sand where our troops were in Iraq and got
Stefanik, yeah.
sent home. Got sent home like a bad schoolboy.
Thank you. At least Stefanik, yeah. Sycophant yourself.
Okay, I
It's just,
asked
it's just so
if it's
sad.
going to hurt.
Some of these people were good people in the past, and then totally flipped for 45. Anyway,
I tell you, when if we ever find out what Trump got from the Russians on all of them, I mean, everybody has something that they think they just can't have the world find out about, even me. And I mean, so I'm not making myself exclusive from humanity, but these people, their egos get so far ahead of their brains. They're so 3D. That's so 3D ago. Anyway, what I got on asking if he's going to pay for this, This is the only no, and it's like darkest before the dawn way. That's why I'm saying someone's threatening him because yes, he's weighing some bad things, but anyway, right now he's anxiously stressed out. This is a yes. Will it hurt him? He knows it's going to cause him some grief and sorrow. He's still going to keep doing it. Has been told to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, someone speaks out against him with judgment. So, Kevin,
Yeah. And yeah, that's right. Kevin or Mr. Jeff said, even Elon tweeted that Trump will win on a landslide if he's indicted. Okay,
this is a man who lost more money in a month buying a social network that he bid for that wasn't anywhere near what he offered. Are you going to take? I mean, I think Elon, when he stays in a lane like hiring the best scientists to build the stuff he wants, he's okay. But I think his opinions otherwise are not only somewhat suspect, but for entertainment purposes only, Elon does not seem like a stable person.
so I got Trump has authority over Kevin. So I have my authority. So my Hierophant card is basically the Emperor plus the Hierophant. And this one I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeling is a male authority
Mm-hmm.
over 45. He's just keeping things calm for the big guy. There's some kind
Mm-hmm.
of Knight of Coins here is that slow moving. There's some kind of compromise, possibly money. I'll do it. Do what you say. And I have the truth will come out with a little bit of patience. Don't worry about Kevin because the truth is coming out. Knight of Wands, ton of energy moving forward. The truth will prevail. Just a little bit of patience because bad things are coming, but he needs to stay in his lane thanks to what Trump has on him. And no worries. Once justice happens, everything is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Once justice happens, everything good, angelic, and goodness comes to light. And they will be going in their demise. When those Republicans get indicted for helping an insurrection, Kevin will have nothing. Ted Cruz will have nothing. Josh Hawley will have nothing. They will all face the lies that they've been saying forever in the court of opinion in the public. They can't
Can I
stop them.
comment on something someone's got in here in the chat? Someone asked about John Edwards. Yes, he was sued for taking money that appeared to be campaign funds and using it to maintain his mistress. I actually know people who were near this lawsuit. Um, and but he was not convicted because the jury decided it wasn't campaign funds. So, and that's what it was based on. And Jack Smith ran that trial as prosecutor.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, no worries, folks. It really feels like early summer. We can really start
Mm-hmm.
feeling it. You know, you're talking before July.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like before July we can definitely feel the shift going because you know the clock is ticking, and I think they feel that because
Mm-hmm.
you indict someone, you're talking a year later, and then you're
Right.
talking, you know, election season.
Mm-hmm.
So everything will be done before July. I mean, not done, but you know, what I mean, I think the ready to go to indict. Yeah, Elon's a nothing. He
Mm-hmm.
he's a privileged one that never did anything great in his life except purchase a company,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fail, and Tesla's failing too. So anyway, incitement of violence will trump
I
everything.
got it. I do you want to read on it? I got no. I got because they have so many other things that are more important, like espionage and money laundering and things that are much
True.
more paper. You know, Law likes paper crimes. You have to have something on paper that they can find. And unless you can find Trump with a big sign hanging around his neck saying, go hit the Capitol," no matter what his words say, he can always say they were misinterpreted by the person who heard him.
Well, I got the incitement of violence with the 5 of
Yeah, we know he
swords.
did it.
Yeah. I'm getting you can do better than what he did with that angels and love card. And then I have the moon. So behind the scenes, it might be talked about. They're focused more on the money and prosecuting him. It could be thrown in there, but it's not a priority. I got Ace of Coins, the Mad King of 45, and then I have the loss, the deep loss of everything cup. So there is talk about it because it was a sad time, you know. January 6th was a sad time in our history. So they want to make things better, that this never happens again. But it might be thrown in there, but it's not a priority feeling. I wish Elon would live on Mars like he wants to and just leave us alone.
Go up I don't know. That might us letting him off our planet might make us intergalactic criminals with the galaxy.
Okay, clear. Ron Johnson. Mr. David wants to know about Ron Johnson.
Okay.
How bad was he involved with the Orange Menace? We know he's a sycophant. We know he lies. He was involved a little bit with the fake electors, if you remember seeing that, where did you see that clip where he was walking in and the reporter said, "I can see your phone. You're not on the phone. You're just ignoring me."
Yeah.
She was asking questions about the fake electors.
Well, so that we're asking about Ron Johnson and the fake electors scheme?
Yeah. January 6th, whatever you want to feel. Basically justice for him and how deep it goes. If he's
I'm just going to put justice for his actions.
Yeah. Is there justice for his actions around January 6th? That's a good way to go for it. Ron Johnson.
Okay. I got the Princess of Swords, which is page swords. That's someone that's out gunning for him.
It could be an aide. It could be an aide.
That's true. Right now, he's got the Emperor kind of upside down. I get a feeling it's because the Emperor's overburdened. It's really weighing on Johnson because he knows what they could have. And they're very judiciously, at the Eight of Pentacles, putting together a good case against him. And it pays off. They get the gem they need to move on him. I think they're going to move on him.
Well,
because they can't just get rid of Trump. All these clowns are there now. And if they walk away, it's like after World War II when they let those congressmen walk away that were actually working with the Nazis. And they just let them go back into obscurity. We can't do that.
So my toss and feeling is that it feels like, well, someone mentioned about Fitzgerald, one of the representatives or whatever in Wisconsin. Yes, he was involved. What was our Supreme Court nominee? Our Wisconsin Supreme Court. The man, he was involved in getting the fake electors, and he's running for our Supreme Court. I'm getting a lot of pages, and that's what my sense was saying. I was trying to focus on him, and I was being shown someone lower. So I think whoever orchestrated this to help in January 6th was actually an aide who may be indicted. The Page of Wands and Page of Cups in the end. I don't have justice cards coming in. So this is my thought process. There's something secret, dark that they don't know about, but I have a young person helping. We'll
Mm-hmm.
have we'll have the complete failure
Mm-hmm.
in the January 6th. But this is going to hurt Ron Johnson completely political. He
Mm-hmm.
can't deny what he did because I have a 10 of swords mounting on the change of luck wheel of fortune for him because the truth comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to hurt him politically bad. I do have more justice cards. I have what comes out on his government dealings. So we had the whistleblower, the what comes out in the
Mm-hmm.
news, messenger, the government, and the Lady Justice upon him. So there is legal ramifications because of people he worked with. I'm not seeing justice or him being locked up, but it's going to hurt him pretty bad politically. And he's going to have some decisions to make. Whether he's going to stick it out. You mean the fraud monies Trump acquired? Uh,
He acquired the money. They're looking into the money he got to run Truth Social.
oh, yeah, that. That's ongoing.
I mean, it's like what's the news today? And I really try to avoid the news, guys. This is really hard.
It's hard. Oh, yeah. What is it? 15 million or whatever from a offshore Russian account
Mm-hmm.
to keep True Social going?
Oh,
Sure.
did you see the journalist who one of the people working that went after Kellyanne Conway about she was trying to talk about what Hunter Biden had made, and they said, "What about the $2 billion the Saudis gave?" And she just sat there. Someone asked me a real question. Do
These people.
you
I
want to
mean,
do a yes
at
or
least
no
they're.
if we still see 30 people out of the Senate and the House going down when they start indicting about
Um,
January 6th?
uh, yeah, hold on a second. 45 will not be running. People just need to get that out of the head. I mean, he's running, but he will not be president. He's going to have too many legal issues, and Jack will make sure. I mean, the documents case alone disqualifies him.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the charging indictment of stealing the documents, makes him automatically unable. So, was there a question there, or just popped in your head about that, Nancy?
Um, oh yeah, I want to know if they're going to indict. Remember, we had that day that we came up with between 26 and 30 people
Okay.
would be leaving the House and the Senate.
Congress. I'm gonna create a quick.
Okay.
In just to give us focus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, there we go.
Okay.
Let's get that energy.
Okay.
Ah,
We can't remember the questions. How can the poor people watching at home, right?
Mitch McConnell. He's sick. He's recovering. His purple hands all over again.
It's not recovering.
He's weak. I don't.
I don't think Mitch is getting better.
No, he's not.
Mm-mm.
I don't think we should worry about DeSantis either. He will
Did
never
you
win up.
hear? Did you hear at a campaign event he ate tapioca pudding out of a pudding cup with his fingers?
I heard some stuff about pudding. I didn't know what it was about.
And they said that they try to at political events. If you've never been to one, they're places where people come to drink bad Chablis and eat okay cheese. And so there's always a big spread. And some people make the mistake of putting out foods that people might actually be able to drip on themselves. That's why cheese and crackers are usually what they feed them, but occasionally they have real food. And I had one candidate that couldn't eat with their mouth closed. So after that, I told people no food. You cannot have food at their events. And well, it's how this guy was raised. What can I say? Anyway, and I had one candidate who would never eat anything at an event because she was afraid like spinach would get stuck on her teeth or something. But apparently his campaign group has tried to tell these people no food at these events, and they keep putting food out, and they're getting really pissed because the guy eats like two-fisted, like he hadn't seen food in a week.
I eat really slow nowadays to avoid weird stuff because people used to complain about how I eat when I was younger. So now I use a fork and everything, small
You ate
pieces.
like a good farm boy.
Yeah.
Food.
Gimme, gimme, gimme. Okay. Yes, many. The 10 of coins comes up again. Many. For the sacred of our democracy, many will be burdened.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indictments will come. Jack Smith using the rule of law, and then there's plenty of whistleblowers talking. People that they've talked to. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're getting to it. Jack Smith here, the rule of law, the strength card. People giving testimony. The rule of law. The United States is worth it with many people. Many will be burdened behind the scenes about what comes on. A lot of tens. There's a lot of people. We're a
Mm-hmm.
combination of a lot of people. My January 6th card with the Five of Swords
Mm-hmm.
and taking on the indictments. Yeah. As far as timing, looking at all my cards, it's
Mm-hmm.
all scattered, so there's no timing in there. There's no boom of summer. I mean, there's hard work ongoing. It may start in the spring, end of spring, and then into autumn.
Yeah, I got it's going into October.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's scattered from late spring, summer, autumn. As far as my timing here, so it'll probably be dropping as we go.
Yeah, I used my housewives tarot, which is these 1950s housewives, and I've got that they're building a strong barrier. There's a whole lot going on we don't see because they're keeping it close to their own chest.
Mm-hmm.
I see
Mm-hmm.
October is the out date on it. They can't get all of them they want. There's some that they know they should be able to get, but they can't get them with the evidence they have. But they're using this is a seven of wands where they're really tooling up for things, but it's like seven little toothbrushes around a toilet. Well, seven of wands can also mean when it's reversed, you don't have the right, when it's upright, you don't have the right tool for the job, so you're just being very defensive. When it's reversed in this deck, it means you have all the tools you need, so you're doing everything you can. But what it says to me is that yes, by October, we'll have a real clear idea of how many of them could be out, and some may leave sooner than that.
Yeah. So all those tens are basically saying, yeah, the 15 that we always felt, it's still in play.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still trying to get Scott Perry's information secured through the courts.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been an ongoing battle there.
Well, wasn't that the last thing that Beryl Holland did? She said that they could have those records. That was her last thing.
She said yes, but I think he appealed to the three-panel judge next.
This was when it came back, and they said to look at it again. She didn't. I think they're just about to get them.
Okay. Yeah, I always see it working, but it's all delayed. How do these people have so much money for lawyers?
because Donald Trump sends out an email and people pour their life savings into it.
Making $170,000 a year, and you have millions of dollars for lawyers.
Right?
Florida trying to outlaw women. Yeah, I'm not. How can Michael Flynn? They're talking about a hospital in Florida, hospital system. How can Michael Flynn get control of a hospital in Sarasota?
I don't. Well, how does anybody do anything in Florida?
That makes Maria. What are you talking about with Barr and Jordan? Would Bill Barr and Jim Jordan have to do anything? Just kind of
Well,
clarifying that one.
if they're except for being corrupt, I don't know.
So yeah, it's like, like people. It just feels like people that forwarded emails and didn't actually, as far as we know, like Mike Lee of Utah. As far as we know, he didn't push an insurrection of sorts. He forwarded stuff. He was in discussions, but is it worth prosecuting that possibly, because he wasn't part of the insurrection? Those type of people will probably skate by, they'll ask for his testimony. But the people like, I keep forgetting names, but the one in Arizona, Andy Biggs and,
Mm-hmm.
Boebert, Green, the usual suspects.
Mm-hmm.
They will be going bye-bye. They'll have issues. And so, get rid of that. Yeah, we established that one. Christine was talking about that too. Something about DeSantis is taking over the boards. The last one is taking over the county board. Yeah, he's like a total dictator. He's
Mm-hmm.
been putting his own people in places where they have no reason to be. So this is,
Well, he's over a state that's sinking, literally sinking
yeah,
in the climate change, and they're sitting there denying it, and it's insane. You see people riding bicycles down streets that were streets, and now 2 or 3 times a year they have these special tides that come in and they flood the streets.
yeah. I mean, within 10 years, I see 4 feet gone of,
Mm-hmm.
of, of beach. Anything within 4 feet of sea level there is going to be rising because we cannot stop it now. As far as the melt from the ice shelves, and they warned if within 50 years, if it continues this route, you're talking 20 some feet.
Yeah, Manhattan will be gone.
Yeah, but I don't sense it be that. What they call that one in Antarctica, the Doomsday Shelf or whatever.
Right,
That if that completely breaks off, they're talking 20 some feet. But I feel, because I was reading into that, and I'm like, yeah, something's gonna come, but then there's like, we do something with climate change, and then I was seeing like super glue being put on the brake, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
it stops because of climate. So some will come, but not all. I feel. Yeah, Flynn will be charged. Don't worry, he's in that crew. Okay. What about DeSantis and these boards? What is it?
Okay, there was a week supporting government around the state. They didn't take action when they could have to protect themselves. So he just swooped in and took it because he wants to be king. And this is a very difficult time to live in Florida because they're going across a bridge of despair. And a lot of people are going to be leaving Florida over the same thing.
it's a fool's journey what he's doing here.
Mm-hmm.
There's some kind of it feels like a kickbacks with money.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, it's a losing decision. There's some kind of I don't know. He's being investigated in the background because I have the investigations, the federal investigations going on behind the
Mm-hmm.
scenes. I mean, he's doing illegal stuff that could be leaking into federal jurisdiction. He's being investigated. What he's doing is a fool's journey. There feels like people talking behind his ear. So
Mm-hmm.
my hermit is also the fool. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like making dumb decisions. Some people are talking in his ear, a little bit of kickbacks here with a page of
Mm-hmm.
coins, but it ain't gonna work. He's gonna lose big time. Because I had the chariot taking charge of situations with hospital boards and changing laws.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna work. Lack of energy, he's gonna lose. So I wouldn't worry about DeSantis either being president. He's gonna
I don't know
he's
about that, but you got to remember Florida also elected Ron Scott, who lost the largest Medicare scam ever. I mean, they were charging 3 and 4 times for patients and stealing people's social. I mean, it was just a complete scam. And it was the largest award ever made against a company over Medicare fraud. And they elected him senator. Now, Ted Cruz is pretty obnoxious, and he's just an obnoxious human being with no spine. But
yeah, and
he,
there's all yeah, Scott's horrible. Horrible too. These people. Um
can we go to some other state other than mine in
no,
Florida?
just the last thing about that, because there are reporters. I'm not sure. I because this is so new.
Mm-hmm.
There are reporters looking into the fact of where did the hurricane money go? Because Casey DeSantis set up GoFundMe or some kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
to help everyone in the hurricanes, and there's been no help. And reporters are looking at as where's the money, the hurricane money that she was taking charge of. And we're talking there's a lot. It isn't
Mm-hmm.
like $100,000. We're talking millions
Mm-hmm.
that she was trying to help with, and according to some reports, that these people in that hurricane zone aren't being helped
Mm-hmm.
with rebuilding and whatnot. What's up with the money with Casey DeSantis and the hurricane relief?
Okay.
Because it was like something like she did a GoFundMe or donations to help people. Sweet darling Lulu thinks it was 35 million. Holy cow!
Yeah, she's going to get caught for that. This was people being hopeless and mournful and trying to help people build to another place. That it got taken away by someone in position of power. And when the questions, it'd be a yes if this was the only card on there. Yes, she's going to get caught, and she's going to have to walk away and refund and give back or get to where it needs to be. She's going to pay for that. That may be what finally gets him, despite his table manners.
Yeah, everything's coming to light about it. Burden and a
Mhm.
tower.
Yep.
Yes. Um, people are. Yeah, here's the Knight of Coins with Fundy, the complete loss.
Hmm.
There are going to be whistleblowers on this within the
Hmm.
administration or something, but yeah, here's the hurricane loss and everything, and then the funding, the slow funding with the Knight of Coins. Wishes will be filled with this, with Lady Justice and the strength and courage, the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, she's going to lose. The people will get the money they're supposed to get out of this, but it's
Hmm.
going to be investigated.
How bizarre.
Good, good. I mean, can't we just have decent people like Tony Evers in Wisconsin? An old educator and administrator, quiet.
We need to get
Works for
more
the people,
voters.
and you never hear a peep from them.
We need to get more voters that know who they're voting for instead of
Oh, I know,
that
right?
campaign slogan. I remember when my brother went to college in Indiana, he told me that the way they went over there is whoever had the best slogan. Didn't matter who they were. This was back in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, and I don't worry about SCOTUS. Ginny's going down.
Hmm.
She's gonna be in it. The
Hmm.
funding and whatnot. Yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, it was like last year, I think, and I was always sensing at first, it's like, oh, she'll probably get a deal, and there'll be pressure on Clarence. And then there's something that came out in the news about something with her, and then all of a sudden, the guide said they just the feds or whatever investigating, they decided there's no more deals. They're going
Hmm.
after everyone in this one. Anyone with
They need
cultivated
to.
crimes, they're going after everyone. No one gets deals in this round. So I wouldn't worry about Ginny. She's going to be in trouble for it. There's no one getting off, no white privilege in this. I believe with them in the government, Eric Garland, Jack Smith, the rule of law sets no matter who. Believe that one. Okay. Well, Governor Newsom, he's doing some great things. They're lowering the cost of insulin to $30, making it in their
Hmm.
state.
Hmm.
Revamping San Quentin prison based on a Swedish model.
Hmm.
Okay. Will California revamp San Quentin into a rehab center? So obviously it's being talked about. I haven't heard about it, but
I have heard about it.
okay.
Yep. I always thought part of prison was to rehabilitate, but apparently I understand we strayed far from that. But
I'm sensing like there is something on the rehab facilities, but there's something about San Quentin I'm feeling it may not be worth the rehab or revamp.
have you ever seen San Quentin?
No.
It's huge. I don't know what else I could put there. So they may as well do this with it. It's huge. I remember driving going, Jesus. I mean, and I was far away. And it was huge.
So it's not being used right now?
It's being used
What?
as a prison. They're going to be, part of it's going to be revamping it and fixing it. And I see it's a great idea. I think he's going to have, it's going to be more difficult than they think.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I do see a change there, but it's like there might be. It may cost too much or something,
Yeah, that's what I've had a feeling. It's just to,
or they're
not to
not gonna
mention,
do.
have you ever been in a prison? I
No,
don't mean like you were, have you ever
no, I
toured?
never even toured. No.
Well, I toured our county jail on my last day that I was on grand jury about 8 years ago, I guess. And um, I'd been in the jail before, but and two of the we have four towers that are our county jail, and one of them was completely empty, and the other one was half full. Anyway, they're walking us between the two towers. They have these connecting hallways, and they said, "Oh, this is a place where we just store stuff." And they were starting to tell us more about the jail, and we all of us just wanted to get out of there at this point. We'd been way too long on this tour, and I looked down at my hands because they started to hurt, and my hands looked like a Vegas sign. The fingers were flashing color and going boing 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 boing. There was so much damned energy in this place, and I managed to keep it in my hands. And one of the women who was on grand jury, who knew I read cards and stuff, she looked down at my hands and she said, "Nancy, what's happening?" And I said, "I'm not sure, but we need to get the hell out of here." And what I got out of, but when I got out of the hallway, it's the person who's trying to communicate with me was some guy who got listed as a suicide in the jail and he'd actually been killed. Prisons are no places to go if you're sensitive. And the
Yeah.
other thing about it is they hold so much energy. I'm not sure, there's not you'd have to surround it with bales of sage. That yeah, I toured Alcatraz and I didn't have that kind of experience there, but man, I will never ever ever, no matter what the reason. I really wanted to go in and see. They had just opened a complete hospital unit attached to the county jail because they spent so much time taking uh, people from the county jail to our county hospital and having them treated there. And they all had to have like 2 or 3 guards with them and stuff. So they came up with this plan and got it funded. And they built a beautiful hospital facility that really gives them the good care that they need. And so many people that end up in there, that's how they ended up in in the jails, because they really need to be treated. But
Yeah.
I'm warning y'all, I don't care how tempting it sounds, don't go on prisons.
I mean, so Liz said he's allocated 20 million. I am sensing like I don't think the project's going to end the way they hope.
No.
I do see the reconstruction going. There was money allocated, wanting to do the right thing, but there's conflicts in the end where it's like they would need 30 million more or something to completely do what they want to do. So it just feels like it ain't going to be completed the way they want it or the vision is. But I do see reconstruction happening. So that's what I'm getting there with that one.
Mm-hmm. I got, when I laid the cards, it said no. It's just not gonna. They should take smaller facilities, because part of rehabbing people is putting them in responsible groups.
Right, one-on-one time, but they can, start the process with a little bit and see how it goes. But just Katie, there's more energy from the visitors in Alcatraz than the prison energy.
That's probably true at this point.
Thanks, Katie. Yeah. Oh. Wow, 122. We're all already at the end almost. Okay.
Oh my God.
Let's see. What looks good in the I have left?
How about Hootie getting named a war criminal?
Yeah, I don't believe that was. There was a video and reports that he went to Mariupol. I don't believe it's him. There was pictures and videos, and it's like it looked like he had some kind of mask on or something, and he walked different than he actually did. Because like when this guy looked a little chubbier, and plus he was strutting like this, and Putin always walks one-handed, like he's in the salute. That wasn't him. He looked totally different. And I don't think it was him going down there. It was one of his triple doubles. Trying to think what would be good to end on. 45. All right, how about Pence? Yeah. That's a good one. Because we need to know what's going on with. So behind the scenes and private dinners, he's talking a different game than in public.
Yep.
Little Mr. Two-Face. He's still fighting a subpoena, which our new chief judge will probably have to look at. And we can do a 3-card weekly.
Okay.
It has the Chinese billionaire added. Oh, yeah, that's right. We forgot about Mr. Guo that got indicted for stealing billions. Steve Bannon's cohort.
Oh,
Chinese billionaire that got indicted and arrested. Forgot about that guy.
Is
Yep.
that the one whose apartment burned?
Yes, and his apartment was burning down a
Within
few hours
48
later.
hours of him being out of it, yes.
Yes. That's being investigated. Burning what? Documents? Evidence? Okay. Mike Pence. Let's see.
He's not going anywhere. He's not moving up, moving down, moving sideways. I got that his health isn't as good as he says it is.
Thanks, Earth
He's
Mama.
trying to be the good messenger. Nothing's working. Nothing's coming to fruition for him. So he's sitting under the tree waiting to see what the next shoe to drop. And uh, he'll never get the justice he should for what he did. But it's not going to come out well for him.
Yes. I don't know why he has to be burdened. He should just let it fly. But my
Mm-hmm.
end is he's burdened about justice coming,
Mm-hmm.
the culpability and everything. He should just tell the truth. But there's a heavy weight on everything that's going on around 45 and January 6th. He should just embrace the truth. But he's carrying a heavy load about something that he doesn't want to keep public. There's also a fear of speaking the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a heavy fear of him actually speaking the truth for some reason. The positive energy of doing the right thing is being blocked by that darkness. So here's him speaking and doing the right thing, but it's blocked by a dark transition, probably 45 or something, but he can't win.
Mm-hmm.
Strength and courage, and the Empress will win. Wishes fulfilled. He's going to have to speak. He will speak. And it's not good for his future. Because this is the current energy. This is the past, basically. His fear of speaking. This is moving forward. We will lose. He will speak. Our wishes fulfilled. The divine feminine wins. And the outcome, he goes into obscurity because he's carrying some dark secrets that he does not want to reveal, but justice wins.
Okay.
So don't worry about Mr. Pence. He's sealing his own fate.
Did you want to pull an oracle card to finish the day out? Because we got a minute or so.
Yep. Pull some oracles for the peoples and what we need to feel this week.
Mm-hmm.
Positivity. Oh, let's see what my cards have to say. Yeah, I mean, he could have been a John Dean type person. Instead, he wants to play MAGA. You should know. You should know better. History will fail you if you do the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like he's got the same kind of energy as McCarthy, just a weak person in their soul.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good person, a good leader, because they're just weak in the soul. They don't do the right thing. They'll kowtow to what they need. Okay. Energy for the week. What is Spirit? Energy for the week. Oh, lovely. Stay in harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in balance. And I'm getting your powerful thoughts of earth energy, ley lines. Stay in harmony and connected in gratitude.
That's right. This is the week the ley lines go straight.
The divine feminine and unconditional love has your back. And if you're struggling, remember the good times. Remember when we didn't have chaos in our political system or family members we couldn't talk to because they're crazy. Imagine a better time because Earth power is there for us. Our angels and the divine feminine has our back. Stay in unconditional love and know things will be better. Have Always have patience.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you got?
Yep. I pulled the
Mount Shasta.
lion, the lion from the elementals. Lion's attributes are brotherhood, letting go of stress, strong family ties, strength, courage, energy, and self-fulfillment. The majestic lion appears when leadership is needed. The true leader is the one who supports those around him, has patience, uses empathy, compassion, and wisdom to get the work done. Stay away from the bossy dictator behavior. This will only get you into trouble. It will not get you what you desire. Look to bring balance into your life and your situation. Take time not only to work, but to play. So it's the week to be the lion. That sounds like a perfect definition of what we're going to need to do this
Do
week.
you want to speak quickly on the ley lines?
Ley
You've been
lines
re-
are
you've been researching them a little more than me.
right. Ley lines are part of what they call the earth energies, and they're lines that go around the globe. And when a lot of them meet together, they cause vortices. They were first rediscovered in the early 1900s by an Englishman. They have a lot of them in England. We have a lot of them here. We just don't pay that much attention to them. But they're ways that energies move around the earth. You kind of think of them as Gaia's nervous system. And um, I'd always wanted to find one after hearing about all the great ones in England. They tend to be where holy places were, cathedrals, places like that have a lot of, they influence that. That's where a lot of them go together like a crossroads.
Right. That's where they
Um,
connect. Yes.
and I always wanted one. I found out I had one in my front yard, basically. It's a boulevard near me. And I have a tree out there, and an architect told me you can see them in nature when you see a tree with burls on it, those funny things on the side of the trunk. Sometimes they're caused from a limb being taken off, but sometimes they just show up. And I have this tree out there that's got more burls. I can't find a picture of another tree in the world that has as many burls as this tree across from me. And and where ley lines are on, when trees are on ley lines, they grow that way because the energy coming up from the earth is too strong and it overgrows the trees. And so I went out there and looked, and there was this golden path of lawn that had just completely died. And it was after the first frost in both directions that ran directly under the tree. And I hadn't seen that in past years. And I asked one of my neighbors who walks their dogs all the time, and they see everything because they walk their dogs. He said, no, that just happened this year. So when I was talking to my guides, they said, well, now we've given you your ley line. We've given you your tree with burls. You need to talk about us more. Ley lines can grow. They can get wider and thinner, and they can actually move kind of like to the tides. But on the solstices and the equinox is what we have tomorrow. Um, they get completely straight, and they know that because they have people in England that go out and check their ley lines every day. I do not check my ley line every day. It's been cold here. I mean, in the morning. Um, so I'm not out checking my ley line, but they basically, I was told by my guides, we put the most burly tree we could up for you. We put out the straightest lines and painted them gold. What more do you want? Go out and study it. So, but when you stand in them, this I can attest to. I used to only read this in books. If you find one and you stand in it, you can feel the energy, and a pendulum will tell you if you're in one or not. And it's a real way energy moves around the earth. It's
Yeah.
another energy field.
A pendulum or dowsing rod. But like first, you can try to figure out where they are because there's a map. you can find on just by Googling,
Mm-hmm.
and try to follow where they are. Like I got to, at some point this summer, I'd like to figure out where the one crosses my area. Because
Mm-hmm.
the one I was researching because of you telling me about Holy Hill,
Right.
it crosses Holy Hill. So if you start the ley line per se at Stonehenge, it comes
Mm-hmm.
down, meets up with a old church in Greenland, comes
Mm-hmm.
down by a lake energy area in Canada near Ottawa, I think it is, or
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong there, but it comes down and then it comes down the Holy Hill and it crosses within 20 miles of me and it heads
Mm-hmm.
down to Arkansas City, Kansas, down to Sedona. That one.
Mm-hmm.
So you can figure out where they are and where they cross and try to find that energetic area where it crosses where you may live. I mean, they're
Mm-hmm.
all over. They can peak from Mount Shasta to the pyramids to all those big sites. But you can Google and um, the seven was it seven heart spaces, the seven chakras
Yeah,
of
there's
the
seven
planet.
chakras on the earth. One of them floats around, but there's seven of them.
Yeah. So you
And
like the pyramids, Mount Shasta, Sedona,
there
Stonehenge.
are other
There's a bunch of them like that.
Chicha something in Mexico. There's a temple there, and uh, Titicaca, the lake, is one of them. And there's one in um, the big what we used to call Ayers Rock, which is now called Uluru, I believe. The big red stone in the middle of Australia is one. There's some that are really big, and then there's also if you go around that tree, Barbara just said she found a ley line and has a heart-shaped burl on it.
Cool.
And the ley lines are spelled Ley. So if you want to go looking for them on Google. And some places in New England, they've mapped quite a few of them. Not so much here. I happen to, like Barbara, I have one in my neighborhood. We went down to a place called White Rock Lake here, and there's a whole string of trees with burls, and they're almost in a straight line, and there's a ley line in between each of them. So it's an energetic line that most people have not paid much attention to. But if you
And
want
you,
to hear more about this wonderful stuff, um, tonight is the eighth candle, and Monday is the ninth candle of the nine candles we've been lighting leading up to this time of intense change. Chichen Itza, that's it. That's the place in Mexico.
yeah, cool.
Yeah. And if you want to come over and see, it's at 6 o'clock Central Time. And tonight it's Sheila from Celtic Tarot. And tomorrow night it will be Ursula from the Ascension Playground. She's a galactic astrologer.
Yeah, yeah, Nancy. I found in Arkansas City there's a energy point, pretty important. There's
Mm-hmm.
something old. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't believe it when I was searching, and I just got drawn to there. And I can't remember what it is, but there's like an old church or some kind of ancient site there
Mm-hmm.
that connects the ley lines.
There's
Um,
mounds too. Yeah, that's Barbara was talking about that it had a heart-shaped burl,
yeah,
and it's Teresa. There's a whole lot of information on earth energies and ley lines. You can have a ley line go through your house, but it has a lot of intense energy. So it depends on what part of the house it's in. You probably don't want it running under your bedroom. And I do have some stories talking to architects of where people had to move out of houses because the ley lines caused them havoc. And then the woman went to build another house, and she had the architects go over at that time, and she found out she was going to build that house on a ley line. So she just moved the house the way it faced on the property, and she got it off the ley line. But yeah, they have intense energy. It's something we don't study much here on this way and on our part of the planet, and it goes along with the people at Findhorn who work with the elemental energies, which is that's how I ended up
and you
wanting to
had
go. But
Arkansas. Anyway,
anyway,
and you had Rory Duff, and who's that other guy on about the ley lines?
Rory Duff. No, I had Tim Walter. Rory is hard to get a hold of. Tim Walter runs a place where they teach people how to cleanse and move energy lines. You can actually move them around if you know how. And he has a whole group of people. Matter of fact, he was talking. I was watching a show of his yesterday. They're going to have a conference on the 3rd and 4th of June in England with a woman who does a lot of that kind of house cleansing, energy line moving, ley line stuff. It'd be fascinating to go, but I don't think I could handle a trip all the way to England. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Did you? Who was that guy from the other guy? That
Johan
Johan. You had
from
Johan.
South Africa.
South
Yeah,
Africa.
he went in, he and his wife went into having babies, and he's a cinematographer, and he's been real busy, and I have not talked to him in a while about what he does. But ley lines can break. They can get misaligned, things can happen to them. And his what he did was he was aligning ley lines because ultimately ley lines are lined up to certain star systems. And that's a part I really don't know a whole lot about. But I know I've talked to some people who work with ETs who've told me they got drafted into helping realign uh, and Earth energies up to their stars. So it's a part of our web of this whole world and how we're all interconnected. And like somebody said twice a year, it's the equinoxes, the ley lines go straight. The solstices, the ley lines go straight. For 4 times a year, the Earth tightens its act up, and it likes us to do small rituals to accentuate that's happening.
Do you, from your interviews and whatnot, does like the earthquake throw Leyland off?
They can throw them off. There's the reason the guy in South Africa has to work so hard is because of where they got torn away from, and a lot of their ley lines go across Indonesia into Australia and into New Zealand. Now, New Zealand supposedly, there's a whole set of YouTube things on a guy called, well, if you start at Tim Walter's channel, you'll find out about it. But he went all across the whole world and went to all these major places. And he said the best vortexes that had to do with ley lines being attached to the stars was in New Zealand because that was part of their faith. They believed that they were connected to those stars and they had these sacred places that they kept connected to those stars. A lot like Stonehenge and some of the henges that go across Europe. Um, if there's some really interesting broad-based articles on it, and the guy who's the geobiologist who's brought it the most to light and works with most countries and has done the deepest research is a guy called Rory Duff, Roryduff. And Rory's an Englishman and he's a little bit dry, but if you sit through it, it's fascinating. And it's a kind of energy stuff I relate to that I can see in my mind how it works. So it just makes us all part of the same web of life. I think the earth is alive. I think crystals live too. So
Yep.
have energy and they
Yes,
just have
they
much
do.
longer lives than ours.
Yes, they do. Mesa,
So,
Mesa Verde in Colorado. See that? Hmm. Have to look on the maps to see where what may cross through there in Colorado. I mean, they're all over the place, but you just have major ones where you can kind of
mhm.
see where they go through.
And you find your little one and work with it. It's amazing. I can't stand it. I cannot stand or walk on that ley line for a great deal of time. I get exhausted. It's so there's so much going on. And but that's how it feeds that energy back out into the earth. And a ley line, yeah, you can see it on the ground, but it's like the energy comes up from the earth. And Hogarth, the tree that's out there, he should be coming back in the real life energy should be coming back into the tree this week, I think. So
Yeah, this Dutch Dutch Sinise or
Duchesne.
whatever. Doesn't he's got He's got an interesting channel. I follow him.
Mm-hmm.
Airing about star forts and other ancient structures. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mesa's a special place. Well, there's got to be a ley line crossing it somewhere.
Yeah, go to Sedona and you'll find a ton of them. Oh, and I've seen shows where people went out there and they played with them and they have different characteristics. They feel different ways, but it's just a fascinating other way to look at how the earth lives around us and what right do we have to murder it,
True, true.
you know? Just
Yeah,
makes us feel and it ties you more closely to the cosmos and to all the energies that are here.
yeah. It feels like we're in a decade of change. We're at
Oh
the
yeah,
we're at the tipping point. We change the directory, or we could collapse the Earth energies.
that's right. And it's the more that those of us who want to deal properly with it come to understand it, come to learn about it, and come to learn how to work with it. My problem is people say, "Okay, I found it. What do I do?" Well, I don't know. You know, um, I
Embrace
know.
it, feel it.
Embrace it, feel it, tell it. You want to help it to do whatever it can do. Yes,
Um,
portals are
yeah,
forming when they
yeah,
cross.
there's definitely. I mean, you can basically see that by all the UFO activity around those major areas, Sedona
Mm-hmm.
and the pyramids, all those energetic areas. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we'll let you have a beautiful day. Thanks for the info.
Okay, and if you haven't joined us for the 9 candles, you haven't missed it. You can start at candle 1 and go through. We've got astrologers, we've got card readers, we've got psychics, we've got mediums, we got people just sitting there talking.
Beautiful. Yeah, you had Linda G on and
Yeah, Linda G was
Intuitive
on
You
Wednesday.
and
Mhm. Andrea,
Andrea, Danny,
Danny, Dorothy Morgan,
Dorothy.
and I
Yeah,
had a woman named Jean O who's uh, 5 years ago really started getting in this, was feeling compelled to move in this direction. So her conversation was more, how did I create this in a more spiritual life to work in? And she's going to open up a healing center. So,
nice.
people, all different perspectives on how this works.
Beautiful. All right. Manifest. Love and light,
Manifest.
everyone. Thank
Have a
you.
good day. Bye bye.